If you're learning piano and you're anything like me, you'll want to get playing real songs right away. And if you're looking at total beginner piano lessons on YouTube, a lot of them are going to be teaching simple melodies, everything from classical stuff to Three Blind Mice. And if you listen to the radio or the songs that you and I probably both love, you'll notice they're actually using chords, things like this. And it is this understanding of how chords work and learning to play basic chords that is going to enable you to play way more songs than you could if you were just focusing on single melodies and also just focusing on sight reading. Reading the notes on the page really slows down learning depending on the student's goals. So what I want to do is show you how chords work, get you playing some basic chords, and I'm going to show you 3 songs in this video that is going to be your first steps into this world of playing chords so that you can play along to the original recording of songs and also sing along yourself. So rather than playing the melody, kind of singing the melody, or the recording that you're playing along to sings the melody. This is going to be such a massive lesson for a lot of you guys out there, and I'm going to have a part 2, part 3 of this lesson because it's such a big topic, too much for one video. And it all starts, and you can even try this if you only have an iPad or your phone, getting anything in front of you, but we want a keyboard in front of you, whatever that looks like, or a piano, and we want to find middle C. That is where everything starts in music and on piano and keyboard as beginners, and it's kind of our first note of piano and of music. This is the C note that is exactly in the middle of our keyboard. Now the A note that would start the alphabet is actually here, and the notes on the keyboard go from A to G, but then we can notice that they actually just repeat. So if we just take these black notes for a second, we can actually see that exactly repeats here and exactly repeats here, and the same lower as well. We have this pattern of 2, 3, 2, 3, and anything that we learn here, we can actually move up and down the keyboard really easily, way easier than other instruments as well. And how we're going to do that is we're going to play a C note just here, and then we're going to play the 3rd note from there. So counting this as 1, we go 2, 3, and then the 5th as well. So this was 4, and this is 5, together in this manner. Now this might have been something that you've done before, but stay with me because there's some really cool tricks that I'm going to be showing you as we go along, and as I say, we're going to be focusing on this from a song's point of view. That is called a triad, or our C triad, and we call it the tonic triad because this is the tonic. Tonic is just a fancy word for the first note of a scale, and we have made a triad or chord from this first note. As I say, this might be something that you've seen before or done before. We need to lift fingers 2 and 4. So if I numbered my fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fingers 2 and 4, and notes 2 and 4 aren't played. So we do have to lift them slightly. So it kind of looks like that when I'm holding it down. That is how we would play our first chord. And what we can do to play all the chords in most songs, and this is the underlying principle of it, is just move this same shape. So you don't even have to move your fingers. We actually move our hand over by 1 note. And that would play our next chord, okay? Now we can see that the lowest note of that is a D. So we're going to just call this a D chord for now. And then if we move it over again, we can see that next note is an E. So this is our E chord. Just keeping this basic for now. We move it over again, we have an F chord, move it over again, and we have a G chord. And we could absolutely keep going like this and play all the chords that are ever going to happen in a song, but once we get over this one, we're actually back at C again. We use C, E, and G, which was the same notes, C, E, and G, just here. So the only chords that matter to us in terms of chord names are all the ones that we can play like this until we get up to that last C, because that last C is the same as the first one. Now the thing that is going to bring this to life so much more and is going to enable us to play our first song right away actually just uses this one chord, this C major chord in the right hand, And what we're going to do is add a left hand note to it, which to start off with is going to be the C note here. That is the really common thing that happens. And this would be a C chord with a C in the left hand, or as we know this, in the bass. You can see over here on the graphic, it's actually in the bass clef, and this is in the treble clef. Okay, so that's why we would call this our bass note, and in this case, it's the root note as well of our C. Just throwing some terms at you in case you've heard some of these things before, and trying to connect them to what we're doing here. But to play our first song, what we're going to do is then use this same kind of triad idea, but we're going to do it what would be an F chord actually, but play them one note at a time, down to A, F, and then back to A again. And the great thing is we can just play them all together, one note at a time in the left hand, but always hitting all the notes in the right hand, and we get this. Some of you may recognise that already. That is Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. Such a great song. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. And also nothing I can see but you when you dance, 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 dance. I won't sing anymore for you because I know I don't have the best voice, but that is just showing you how simple this can be to play real songs that you know and love and that you're going to hear on the radio. So how this kind of steps up a level, commonly what we do is match the note in the left hand, or the bass note, to the lowest note, or the name of the chord, even better. That's really what we do. The name of the chord in the right hand. So this right hand is playing the C major chord, but the left hand is playing just the C root note in the bass, and that is where we started off with Can't Stop the Feeling. Now I'm now playing that with our left hand, because we're going to be changing chord now. But what I want to do is get used to just playing 3 chords, because all these chords are simple enough to play, but they don't commonly all get used in songs. Pop songs, as you may know, actually stick to 3 or 4 chords for the majority of the song, and it's those chords that we want to stick to, okay? And in this case, those 3 chords that we're going to initially learn, though I have a 4-chord video if that's what you want to really expand on this kind of topic. We have a C chord, we have an F chord, and then a G chord. What we call that is the 1, 4, and 5 in the key of C, because the root note and the chords are based off of the first note, 1, 2, 3, 4th note, and then the 5th. And what those 3 chords also are the only 3 major chords that we have in this key. And this key, just think of a key. We have piano keys here, but when I mention key, just think of a family of chords that go together, and of how real songs are, the chords that real songs actually play, using just a few chords, but those few chords just sounding great. So we have the C, the F, and the G. And already we can play so many songs with that as well. Just briefly kind of shake it up, baby, now, shake it up, baby. You know, there's so many Beatles songs. Wild Thing, you make my heart sing. Okay, those aren't the proper, we're not doing a proper tutorial on those. Those aren't my proper song examples. I'm just showing you the capability of these songs, because you get 3 chords under your fingers, and you have so many songs available to you. And here we're just looking at the key of C, so that we're sticking to the very friendly and easy to play white keys. It does get trickier when we start to use more of the black keys when we're looking at this on a beginner piano kind of basis. The next thing that I really want you to get used to is something called inversions. It's another technical word, I know, I'm sorry. But what we're actually trying to do is make this sound better and make it easier to play in the most easy way possible. So doing this is very simple as a concept, but it's actually, we're moving our hand a long way all the time, and it doesn't necessarily sound great. So what we typically do in pop songs, in piano music in general, is we use this thing called inversions, where we can actually keep our hand really still and not move it too much so that it makes it easier to play faster, and just simpler altogether. Hard thing to get your head around initially, I know. I'm just really trying to give you guys the concept in this video so that you can go off and learn as many songs and just have loads of fun playing piano in just the simplest way. But the concept is, we played this F chord before, but we can play this C note because it looks the same as this one. We can play it here instead, and we're going to play it instead of that top one. So we're just going to do this. And we could either play the C chord still with finger, thumb, and if we think of them as the 1, 3, and 5, our thumb, our middle finger, and the little finger, or we could play them with the first and the fourth finger to enable an even easier transition between this C to an F chord. Big concept. This might not become straightforward. This might not enable everybody watching this video to do something new straight away, but knowledge of this and knowing that this is still an F chord, even though we're not playing that straight triad, is massive and will enable you to play more songs. Absolutely, okay? So that's what we're getting used to first. C chord to the F chord as an inversion. Finally, we'll play that G chord and we'll just move these same notes or these same finger positions just up one again. And just move between the C, F, G, F, is. That can be a real breakthrough for a lot of people, because when we're mentioning a C chord or an F chord, not always playing in this fashion. Sometimes we might play this. We have a first inversion, second inversion. So this is kind of known as the second inversion of it, because we're just moving the same notes higher up. Big concept, technical language, but I hope that's got through to some of you. It is so useful. This would enable us, for example, to get straight onto our second song, which uses this new chord, which would be the next chord along, but we're going to play it here. This is an A minor chord. Now let's think about this. That was our C major chord that we started off with. We move it down once, and we move it down again, and we get to A minor, and it sounds sad. The other chords that we played, the C, the F, and the G, sound happy, so they're major. Major, cheery, minor, dreary. Okay, we have this type of chord, but we can use different notes to play it. It is big concepts. I'm just trying to give you as much in one video as I can without overwhelming you. But if you're overwhelmed, there's some helpful links in the description below, because that is already so much. For those of you that are comfortable with this, we're going to play the A minor with an A in the bass. We're then going to go for an F chord using this inversion of it, and then to C. And I'm just going to do this quickly because this is how to play Sam Smith and Stay With Me. Oh, won't you stay with me? And that is virtually the whole song, and I have a full tutorial on it, and that would be a perfect jumping off point if this has been something that's been a lot for you, but you want another practical song example of how to do this. Okay, that is such a great example, because throughout most of the song we're not moving at all. And again, that used the chords A minor, F, using a different inversion of it, to C. Would it still work as playing, the A minor up here, and then the normal F, and then a C? Of course it would. But I'm moving this right hand an awful lot, and it doesn't sound as much like the song anymore. This sounded a bit more like the song, so that's what we're aiming for with this knowledge of inversions. That would give us, ladies and gentlemen, 4 chords: the C, the F, the G, and the A minor. They're the 4 chords that we looked at in this tutorial. As I say, I have a video showing you how to play 10 songs with kind of thoroughly going through each song as well, just with those 4 chords. I'm sure I'll make another one again, because there are so many other songs that can do it. There's not just 10, there are hundreds and hundreds. But one of the most famous songs that uses just these 4 chords is a song called Let It Be by the Beatles. Very recognisable, super fun to play on piano. It is one of those classic piano pieces. Again, I have a full tutorial for this song, but it should be seen as the culmination of all this chord work that I've mentioned so far. So it's not something that you can just kind of, if you've never played piano before, I'm not expecting anyone to be able to just jump straight onto that video and play it within 5 minutes. It's going to take a little bit longer than that, to be honest with you, but working through these stages that I mentioned so far absolutely will get you to that level, and you can do it just using these tutorials that we have on this Andy Piano YouTube channel. So what we have, a couple of things that we're adding. We have the C chord played as we normally would, that would be my recommendation. G chord played as we normally have done, you know, the C, F and G. A minor played in this fashion now, and then F played like this. That would be my recommendation. So we have C, G, A minor, F. That's kind of our 4 chord song kind of chords. After that, C to G again, but then what we have is this section where we can even go, or even better, just, and we can see that theory that we looked at right at the start of the lesson, where we have this idea happening right in front of your eyes. To play it kind of properly, we would just be here, using this way of playing an F. It all kind of comes together to create that. Such a wonderful melody, such wonderful piano playing. The other thing that commonly gets done with this kind of song is an doubling up of the bass note with a lower octave. So C here and C here. Now that is a hard stretch to do. That is again something you want to train yourself up to by kind of getting used to these chords and then getting used to going a little bit further and a little bit further, and that will enable this to sound really great. But all of this practical chord theory and practical skills into practice, I have a full tutorial for those 3 songs that we've looked at so far. So Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling, Sam Smith, Stay With Me, and Let It Be by the Beatles. Those tutorial links are in the description below. Check out each one of those going through, and they are practical examples of this chord theory, and then a little bit of work on melodies as well, such as the C major scale, which I have a video on as well, and maybe simple melodies such as Happy Birthday or something, will really enable you to get to grips with the basis, and I hope that really helps you. Let me know if you want a part 2 to this video, and we'll experiment with this more. But have fun learning those songs, have fun playing piano, and use chords to play these kind of pop songs that you love. It is absolutely the way forward if that is your goal on piano. Subscribe to my Andy Piano YouTube channel, and I will see you again. Bye for now.